The story begins with our female lead, Ha-eun, standing there watching her own boyfriend cheat on her with her own two eyes. And he wasn't just cheating on her emotionally, he had actually given her drugs at the party to keep her completely out of the picture, all for the sake of a career promotion. Not only that, he himself was busy enjoying the night, while she was in no state to understand what was happening around her. Her condition deteriorates quickly, and she's struggling to even stand properly when her eyes land on a man nearby. He's incredibly handsome, tall, composed, calm in the way that some people just are, like the world could be burning, and they'd still know exactly what to do. She reaches out to him and asks him to help her. He looks at her very carefully and says, "Just so we're clear, later on don't come blaming me for whatever happens tonight." She says, "Absolutely not, I completely And with that, he picks her up without another word and takes her back to his residence. They spend the night there. The next morning when Ha-eun opens her eyes, she has absolutely no memory of how she got there or what happened the night before. She looks around the unfamiliar room and tries to piece things together. Her dress is where she left it. She puts it back on quickly. On the way out, she spots a coat hanging on the wardrobe stand and grabs that too without thinking, needing to get out as fast as possible. Just then her office calls. There's been an emergency. She has to come in right now. When she arrives, she realizes exactly what the emergency is. News of her spending the night somewhere has spread across every platform, every news channel, every gossip column. Photos are circulating. The story has legs and everyone is sharing it. The poor woman's reputation is completely in shreds before she even had time to figure out what really happened. And then we finally get a proper introduction to our male lead, Song Jow-lee. Very handsome, very well put together, the kind of man who commands attention without trying to. He's confident, slightly guarded, and carries himself with the quiet authority of someone who has built his life on his own terms. As it turns out, he was also going to become her very next client, which means Ha-eun is now in the extremely uncomfortable position of having to deal with this man professionally. Her boss is already absolutely tearing into her before she can even sit down. Do you see what these rumors have done to this company's image? Because of this, I simply cannot keep someone like you on staff. She stands her ground and says, "Please give me one chance. Just one. I'll go to Mr. Song directly and explain the entire situation. He's our client. When he hears the truth, he'll understand. I'm certain of it." And right at that moment, Mr. Song Jow-lee walks into the office. Ha-eun looks at him and just stares. She still has no memory of the night before, so she has absolutely no idea that this is the same man. He brings up the photos circulating online, and she immediately says, "That's just my boyfriend. People are spreading rumors for nothing," as if there's anything wrong going on. He listens and smiles quietly to himself because he knows she genuinely remembers nothing. Just then, she accidentally knocks over a glass and water spills all over her clothes. As she's trying to clean herself up, he grabs her wrist and says, "So now what are you going to do?" She jumps back and tells him she'll bring him new clothes. He says, "All right, if you want to compensate me, then come with me." He takes her to a ladies' clothing shop. She looks around confused. "Why are we in a women's shop? I'm supposed to be getting you a shirt." He says, "I'm the one being compensated here. If something here catches my eye," and sure enough, a dress does catch his eye and he gets it for her. He even knows her size. And that's the moment it clicks for her. The man standing in front of her right now is the same man from that night. Her phone rings. It's her boyfriend calling about going to a party that evening. And Song Jow-lee, standing nearby, hears the whole conversation. He asks her, "So you have a boyfriend?" Then we get a glimpse of Ha-eun's friend and assistant. He already knows that Song Jow-lee has been quietly infatuated with Ha-eun for a long time. And because of that, he's had an invitation arranged for the same party she's going to that evening. He even knows her name already. Why he knows it? We'll find out as the story moves forward. The next scene brings us to the party itself. Ha-eun is dancing with her boyfriend when Song Jow-lee makes his entrance. Seeing him, she gets a little confused. What is he doing here? He ignores everyone else in the room and walks straight to her. He asks her to dance. She refuses. But what can she really do against a client? He tells her, "I'm your client, and clients deserve at least this much." Her boyfriend Shajin doesn't stop her either. He's actually thinking it works in his favor if she gets closer to Song Jow-lee. But watching the two of them together on the dance floor, jealousy starts creeping up on him. Everyone around them finds this increasingly strange to watch, especially the woman who had been having an affair with Shajin. She keeps trying to get into the conversation. When Ha-eun steps to the side to grab a drink and catch her breath, Shajin immediately materializes right next to her with that same charming smile he uses when he wants something. He tells her quietly, "Push this deal forward with Mr. Song. Get closer to him." He even adds completely casually, as if he's just mentioning the weather, "By the way, We're planning to get married very soon. I'd love for Mr. Song to be invited to the wedding. Ha-eun stares at him. She can't believe what she's hearing. He even adds casually that they're planning to get married soon. He wants to invite Song Jiao-lee to the wedding. Then a woman there asks why the couple doesn't do a cross drink since they're both present. Shajin says he can't. He's driving. So the woman suggests that since Ha-eun was already dancing with Mr. Song, why not do the cross drink with him instead? Song Jiao-lee doesn't refuse either. And while they're doing it, he says to her, "By the way, if your boyfriend ever found out you were with me that night, what do you think he'd say?" Shajin watches the two of them share the drink and can barely contain his jealousy. That very night, Ha-eun tells him she's postponing their wedding. Then she uses his own phone to message his mother, saying they can't get married right now, making sure it comes from his number. When he starts getting rude and aggressive with her over it, she slaps. He brings up photos of the night, asking her who she spent it with. Before he can get any worse, Song Jiao-lee appears and turns the whole situation into a business matter, announcing a competition between the two of them, and whoever wins gets his project. There's a game involved that Ha-eun has never played before. Her ex-boyfriend is apparently an expert at it, and he already starts talking her down. "Just step aside now, I'm going to win this anyway." Song Jiao-lee watches all of this from the side and doesn't like what he sees at all. This woman who works hard and tries her best, being talked down to and dismissed without a second thought. It sits poorly with him in a way that goes beyond just professional concern. Watching all of this, Song Jiao-lee is genuinely bothered. He doesn't want to see Ha-eun humiliated or belittled. He comes over to help her, standing close to teach her how to play the game properly and at least give her a real chance. But in the shuffle, an arrow goes sideways and catches her foot. She gets injured immediately. So Song Jiao-lee immediately declares that since Kuchun is injured, he is disqualified. The project goes entirely to Ha-eun. And then, as she's leaving, he grabs her hand and pulls her back into the game himself. She is absolutely terrified. Her heart is pounding. Then we meet V, Ha-eun's best friend. She texted her early in the morning saying she had something important to tell her. V came rushing over. Ha-eun tells her everything, how her boyfriend was cheating on her, and she is absolutely not marrying him. V is completely shocked. "That scoundrel, I had no idea. If I'd known earlier, I would have taught him a lesson myself." Ha-eun says, "That's not even the main point right now." She tells her about Song Jiao-lee, how he's her client, and how he's been getting uncomfortably close to her. V is astonished, because she knows exactly who Song Jiao-lee is. Honestly, the whole city knows who he is, and she's absolutely convinced that once he's decided he wants someone, he is not letting go. In the next scene, Ha-eun brings her project to Song Jiao-lee, and the moment she sits down, he shows her a message on his phone. "Have you still not given up on that plan of yours? I've heard you're still planning to marry Shajin, but do you actually know what kind of person he is?" She says, "Please don't get involved in my personal matters. That has nothing to do with our business arrangement." He says, "Why shouldn't I? I can if I want to. And by the way, you owe me a night." He tells her to come to his apartment that evening and walks out before she even has a chance to respond. She's left sitting there, not entirely sure how to process what just happened. Then in the next scene, we meet Yao, practically his fiancée. She's come to stay with Song Jiao-lee, but he has had his friend send her away on some excuse because he genuinely has no interest in this woman. This relationship exists purely because his grandfather insisted on it. The only person he's actually been waiting for is Ha-eun. The moment she knocks on the door opens. He sees her. No time wasted. The two of them spend a romantic night together. The scene cuts. Next day, as he sits beside her, a message comes in from his friend who has dug up information on Ha-eun. We then get a flash. She grew up in real poverty. When she needed money for university, she simply didn't have it, and Song Jiao-lee knew about all of this because he'd been watching over her from a distance for a long time. We'll find out exactly how they first crossed paths a little later. Back then, she had received a call from her senior telling her that someone had anonymously sponsored her continuing education. She was overjoyed and promised herself she would find out who that person was one day and thank them properly. Now she had a chance to study and build her life. Nothing could have made her happier. The next morning when she wakes up, she finds her dress ruined and ends up pulling on Song Jiao-lee's shirt to wear home. She steps out and finds him in the middle of a meeting, and Yao is there too. Yao immediately gets furious. She's not the kind of person who hides her feelings, especially when she's feeling territorial. She says, "Explain this to me right now. I am your fiancé. Who is this girl and why is she walking out of your room at this hour?" Song Jiao-lee barely reacts to the intensity of her tone. He looks at her calmly and says, "Why do I have to explain anything to you? You can do whatever you want. Marry whoever you want. None of it is my concern." He signals to the person nearby and has Yao escorted out before she can escalate further. Then in the next scene, Yao shows up at Ha-eun's workplace to warn her. "Stay away from Song Jiao-lee. I'm his fiancé." Ha-eun says, "You think I'm interested in him? I have absolutely no feelings for him." And every word of this, Song Jiaoli hears from just around the corner. Ha-eun adds, I was just playing with him, nothing more. That cuts deep. He walks away. His friend finds him in the corridor and says, I know you've been supporting Ha-eun quietly for a long time, in ways most people never would, and you haven't even told her that you're the one behind her scholarship. She deserves to know. You should talk to her. But nothing his friend says is going to break through right now. His friend tells him the full backstory, how once, not long after Song Jiaoli had learned to drive, he and his brother were out together when they were grabbed by a group of men. Both brothers were kidnapped, and during that terrible ordeal, his brother was killed trying to protect him. Song Jiaoli was rescued, but the trauma ran so deep that he lost his will to live for a while after that. After that, Song Jiaoli had all but given up on life, but on his way back from that dark place, he happened to see Ha-eun outside her house. Debt collectors had shown up, threatening her and her father over and instead of being scared, she stood right there and faced them. Don't worry, I'll clear everything. Watching her fight like that when she herself had so much on her plate, it sparked something in him. If that girl could fight the world while drowning in problems, why couldn't he? That was the moment he fell in love with her, his first love. If there was ever going to be someone in his life, it would only be her. Then he gets a message from a number, actually his own assistant's number, that he's been using himself to secretly stay in touch with Ha-eun. He replies as the assistant, and she immediately reaches out asking if he knows where his boss is. She's made a mistake and wants to apologize. She had already texted an apology to his real number, saying she hadn't meant what he overheard. He replies through the assistant's phone telling her exactly where he is, and quietly sends his actual assistant away so he can have this moment alone with her. She comes rushing, apologizing before she even stops walking. Please don't be angry, he says. I can only forgive you on one condition. Let's see who can run faster. If you get ahead of me, you're forgiven. The moment she hears that, she takes off running. He watches her go with a smile. Then the rain starts and they end up huddling under a shelter together. Every time he tries to get closer, she moves away. She says, our arrangement is just business, nothing more. He takes that as a sign that she still doesn't feel anything for him. He asks her directly and quietly, wasn't Shajin your first love? That unforgettable first person? Maybe he's still that for her. She doesn't quite answer. The rain drums around them. He watches her face carefully and reads into every expression. She's not as unaffected as she wants to appear. He can see that, but she still won't say it. As the rain pours, he takes off his coat and drapes it over her shoulder. Then tells her, there's a surprise waiting for you outside a hotel tomorrow morning. Go and see it. The next day she arrives at the hotel, only to find reporters swarming everywhere. And not just any story. There's Shajin, exposed. His affair with his boss's wife is all over the news. That was the surprise Song Jiaoli had arranged, making sure she saw with her own eyes what kind of man she had been planning to marry. His goal all along had been to make her cancel this engagement, although she had already been quietly planning to do the same herself. His grandfather finds out about the scene outside the hotel, 2 girls seen with him, and goes absolutely ballistic, screaming at Song Jiaoli, how dare you? And here we begin to understand something. His grandfather's favorite was always Song Jiaoli's older brother, who has now passed away. The woman Yao had originally been meant for that brother. Now that he's gone, the grandfather is forcing this arrangement on Song Jiaoli instead. Song Jiaoli makes it crystal clear, I am not doing this. The grandfather he has always treated this boy harshly, never with the love he gave the other one. The next scene brings us back to Ha-eun. She walks into her house to find her mother there, and Shajin has also shown up, clearly trying to win her mother's affections, assuming that if her mom likes him, she'll push Ha-eun back toward him. Her mother isn't that easily played. Ha-eun hasn't told her mother about the breakup yet, but Shajin has no problem bringing up his own scandal with his boss's wife, saying it's no big deal, and then proposing that a marriage between him and Ha-eun would clean up both their reputations. Her mother boils over. Are you trying to use my daughter? She throws him out. Then she turns to Ha-eun and gently asks if she's okay. Ha-eun reassures her. I'm completely fine, Mom. Actually, I even have a new boyfriend now. She's saying this just to ease her mother's worry. But her mother is immediately thrilled and asks to meet him. Ha-eun quickly changes the subject. Her best friend V calls right then to tell her the news. Those 2 women at the hotel with Song Jiaoli weren't actually his girlfriends. He staged the whole thing deliberately to expose Shajin. Learning this, Ha-eun goes straight to his house to thank him, but when she arrives, Song Jiaoli's condition is terrible. He collapses with his head against her shoulder, running a high fever. She takes care of him through the night. She gives him medicine. When she notices the old scars on his back, she's troubled by them and carefully puts dressings on them. Having her there, looking after him, Song Jiaoli feels something warm and steady that he hasn't felt in a very long time. He has been hiding his feelings for so long. Now, in this moment, he asks her to marry him. My chance has come, hasn't it? Your relationship with Shajin is over. As he leans in to kiss her, she pulls back. I only came to thank you. I could never love you. She tells herself the obvious. Their worlds are too different. The next morning, she wakes up and discovers she somehow ended up in the bed when she had fallen asleep on the sofa. He has made breakfast for her. She's genuinely surprised. Wow, you actually know how to cook? He tells her, I only cook for you. I have no interest in doing it for anyone else. Then he mentions that when he was growing up, his grandfather always loved his brother more and never cared about him, so he learned to take care of everything himself. Hearing that, she feels a sadness for him she can't quite push away. She asks how she got from the sofa to the bed. He says, you spent the whole night taking care of me. The least I could do was make sure you were comfortable. Then he steps closer and says, look at how big this house is. Don't you think it's missing something? She knows exactly what he means. Her phone rings. It's V, and she uses it as an escape, heading toward the door. He calls after her as she goes, no matter what happens, I'm not letting you go again. I lost you once before. Not this time. Her best friend has had a bit of an adventure herself. She had been teaching a group of women how to get back at cheating boyfriends, and in the chaos, someone accidentally painted someone's car. The car owner is furious, demanding compensation, and it turns out the car owner is none other than Song Jiaoli's best friend, Liao. When he looks up and sees V, he immediately recognizes her. This is Ha-eun, the girl my friend has been in love with. He quickly tells the others, no need for any compensation. When V says her name is Bushy, Ha-eun lights up. Wait, you're the person who sponsored my studies? I've been wanting to find you for so long. I want to return every penny and I'm so grateful for what you did for me. Liao says, I don't want the money back, but if you really want to make it up to me, come work at my house for 2 months and we'll call it even. She agrees on the spot, genuinely thinking she's talking to the person who helped her all those years ago, not realizing the real benefactor is Song Jiaoli himself. She is genuinely touched and even invites Liao to dinner as a thank you. She wants to celebrate properly. He tries to decline, but honestly, when she asks with that kind of sincerity, there is no polite way to say no. He agrees. Now he's nervous about Song Jiaoli finding out that he's been pretending to be the one who sponsored her. He ends up telling him everything. Song Jiaoli just smiles and says, tell me where we're going. They all go to the barbecue together. Song Jiaoli arrives and acts as if he just happened to be invited by his best friend. He steps aside to give Liao the space, pretending not to be interested. But the entire time Ha-eun hands Liao food, pours Liao drinks, laughs with Liao, Song Jiaoli is barely holding himself together with jealousy. By nightfall, both V and Ha-eun have had far too much to drink. Liao catches Song Jiaoli's eye across the fire and gives him a quiet, meaningful look. He gets up, makes some excuse, and takes V with him. Suddenly, it's just Song Jiaoli and Ha-eun, sitting close together in the warm light of the evening. The noise of the others has faded. The night has gone still. She gets adorably silly when she's drunk, and he finds himself falling even deeper. He puts his coat around her. She falls asleep on his shoulder. The next morning, she wakes up to find herself right next to him. She sits up fast, immediately going through the mental inventory of what she remembers from last night. Her heart is going. She asks, did something happen again? Did we? Another night? He says, you don't remember? Let me remind you. When she asks if something actually happened, he says, I'll tell you. But in return, when you were drunk, you helped me. So as a thank you, and he leans in to kiss her. Before anything else can happen, her phone rings. It's V, calling from the hospital. We then get the reveal of what happened to V. In the drunk chaos on the way home, she had accidentally beaten up Liao. He's completely wrapped in bandages, can't speak, can barely move. V is apologizing profusely and offering to pay for everything. Song Jiaoli tells her, you don't need to do that. Liao is incredibly generous. He'll forgive you. You two go. I'll stay here and look after him. When they step outside, V immediately starts gushing about Song Jiaoli. He's such a genuinely decent person. I've really noted his personality carefully. By the way, you came to the hospital with him. Did something happen last night? Are you two together again? Ha-eun has no memory of anything. Meanwhile, Song Jiaoli is telling Liao privately, nothing happened between me and Ha-eun. We just slept in the same room, that's all. But no matter how much she tries to pretend I don't affect her, I'm her client, and I will always find some excuse to be close to her. She doesn't want to face Song Jiaoli at all after all of this, and sends an employee to get his documents signed instead. But just as she's trying to avoid him, they run into each other anyway. She excuses herself and slips away. Back in her office, her boss is arranging a meeting, and because she's so close to Song Jiaoli, he gives her the task. He also promises her a good amount of money if she handles it. She agrees. When she looks through the meeting list and sees Shajin's name, she tells her boss to remove him, and her boss listens. Shajin finds out he's been removed and storms over, furious, insulting her and accusing her of being Song Jiaoli's secret lover. Song Jiaoli appears and separates them. He tells Shajin directly, if Ha-eun tells me to marry her right now, I will. In a heartbeat. Understand that. He pushes Shajin out. Ha-eun thanks him. He says, I didn't say those things just to help you. I actually love you. If you say the word, I will marry you right now. Think about it carefully. And and he walks away, but leaves her in a very deep train of thought. Her best friend notices she seems lost and asks what's wrong. Before she can answer, her mother calls. Mom insists that today without fail she has to meet Ha-eun's new boyfriend. She panics, and Song Jiao-lee hears her on the phone. V swoops in with a solution. She calls her cousin Rui. He agrees to pretend to be Ha-eun's boyfriend for one meeting with her mother. In return, Ha-eun has to pretend to be his girlfriend in front of his own family too. Deal made. Meanwhile, Song Jiao-lee is at the sports club when Liao tells him, "Should I just text Ha-eun and invite her here too?" He sends her a voice message. She replies that she can't come today. She's taking her boyfriend to meet her mother. That's all Song Jiao-lee needed to hear. He's already heading to her house out of sheer jealousy. The next day, Rui arrives at the house for the big meeting. Just as her mother is asking questions and Rui is about to answer, the doorbell rings. It's Song Jiao-lee. And then we find out, Rui works in Song Jiao-lee's own office. The poor man nearly has a heart attack seeing his boss at the door. Song Jiao-lee, on a weekend, immediately gives Rui a work task to take care of, forcing him to leave urgently. He walks past with a very satisfied smile. And now that the work he came to do is done, meaning getting Rui out of the picture, he's thrilled. He settles in with her mother. Then suddenly, Ha-eun's mother falls ill mid-conversation. Ha-eun panics, and thanks to the fact that Song Jiao-lee is right there, she looks at him through teary eyes, and he immediately takes charge. They rush her mother to the hospital. Her mother's condition is serious. The doctor explains that they need a kidney donor urgently. Without it, the situation becomes critical very quickly. Ha-eun's face falls completely, and she doesn't know what to do or where to turn. But Song Jiao-lee, standing right there, doesn't hesitate for even a second. He quietly makes calls, speaks to the right people, and arranges a kidney donor faster than anyone could have expected. He handles it all without drawing attention to himself, without making it about what he did. After the surgery goes through and her mother's condition stabilizes, Ha-eun is weak with relief. She finds Song Jiao-lee and thanks him with everything she has. She can barely get the words out properly. What he did was beyond anything she had any right to ask from anyone, let alone a man she still sometimes pretends is just her boss. He then offers Ha-eun a position at his own office. "I'm looking for someone just right for this role. Think about it. No need to answer right away." That night, her mother regains consciousness and is clearly happy and relieved. Ha-eun is overjoyed. She loves her mother more than anything. Her mother apologizes to her. "Because of me, you've had to go through so much, and you've still been paying off your father's debts all this time." On top of that, Shajin had even used that debt against her, promising to help her pay it off if she married him and helped clean up his scandal. Her mother had been affected by those words more than she should have been. Ha-eun reassures her, "I'm completely fine, Mom, and if I don't take care of you, who will?" She has made up her mind. She is going to work for Song Jiao-lee. On his side, Song Jiao-lee sits alone, remembering the time he quietly loved her from a distance. How many times he had wanted to say something, to get closer, and never allowed himself to. He has been waiting for her for years. After a lot of thought, the next day she shows up at his door. It's raining outside and her hair is completely soaked. He sits her down and dries her hair himself. She tells him, "I'm ready to work for you." He is overjoyed. He offers to drop her home. She agrees. The next day, Ha-eun officially joins his company, and Rhea, a woman already in the office, is completely put out by this. She immediately goes to the grandfather and stirs things up. Why not give this new girl a major project and see what she's actually made of? If she fails, she's out. The grandfather agrees at once. Ha-eun is given a massive project, and now she's under enormous pressure. In the office, she runs into Rui, who tries to help her. And when Song Jiao-lee sees them interacting closely, he immediately feels a jolt of jealousy. He calls Rui over and sends him off on an overseas business trip, with a very healthy bonus as a sweetener. Rui goes happily. That night, the electricity goes out while Ha-eun is working alone. She's terrified. She calls Rui. No answer. She messages the assistant's number. That number right now is being used by Song Jiao-lee himself. He sees the message and rushes over immediately. The lights come back on the moment he arrives. He starts explaining that Rui is on the business trip. Doesn't she know? She says, "But I messaged the assistant Chu too." His phone gives itself away at that moment. It buzzes. He manages to talk his way around it. He takes her home afterward. Standing at her door after saying goodnight, as she goes inside, he stands there for a moment, remembering how, for years, he would secretly follow her home just to make sure she got there safely, watching her step through that door, wishing someday he'd be allowed to cross that threshold himself. He's still lost in that thought when he spots a strange man outside her building trying to get in. He fights him off. When she realizes and comes running out, "Are you okay?" He doesn't answer. Instead, caught up in protecting her, needing her close, he brings her to his home for the night. He cooks for her. She teases him. "If you weren't a CEO, I'd think you were a food blogger." He says, "I only cook like this for you." Then he asks her seriously, "Do you have a lot of enemies? Tell me who they are, and I'll take care of it." She says, "Not enemies exactly, but debt collectors who come to harass me because of my father's loans. He becomes visibly worried. He asks how much she still has to pay. She tells him the full amount, including, without knowing it, the money Song Jiao himself originally gave her as a scholarship. He asks her, "What is it about Rui that made you choose him as your boyfriend?" She says, "He's reliable, straightforward." He takes her hand. "I'm both of those things too. Does that mean something?" She pulls her hand away and escapes. On the other side of the city, Shajin is seething with fury and goes to attack her again, but she's protected by Song Jiaoli's presence and escapes. The next day when they arrive at the office together, she tries to go in separately, but he won't have it. Just then, Liao also arrives, so all three enter together. When she makes coffee for him, he immediately says he doesn't drink coffee, and inside he's quietly seething that she made coffee for Liao and not him. Liao has come with information. A man named Mr. Yu has returned to the country. Getting him on board is essential. The land connected to him is directly tied to the project the grandfather assigned to Ha-un. If she doesn't secure this deal, she's out. On the other side, Mr. Yu is shown alone, deeply missing his late wife. He holds the shell lamp she made with her own hands. The beach area has been booked out. When Song Jiaoli and Ha-un arrive together, a guard blocks them. They improvise. They're a couple celebrating their anniversary. He lets them through. Working together, cooking together, sharing small funny moments, but all while keeping their eyes on Mr. Yu. When the food is ready, Song Jiaoli tries to present it to him. Mr. Yu says, "I'm not a child. I understand what's happening here. Your engagement with Yao is over, isn't it? Who is this girl? Cut the act. You're both here about the project, and that land belonged to my wife who is no longer in this world. I will never sell it to anyone." They leave disappointed. After some research, Ha-un discovers that Mr. Yu may have wanted to do something meaningful with that land. He's been looking for designers. What if we come to him with a real idea? Something he loves. Song Jiaoli agrees. There's no better approach. He cuts fruit for her and then deliberately pretends to have hurt his hand, just for her attention. She sees through it immediately. "You cook incredibly well. You don't just accidentally cut yourself," but she plays along anyway. While working on the project together, he moves closer to help her with the drawing, and her heartbeat speeds up. She shoves him sideways and his hand gets hit. She apologizes and bandages it. He says, "No need to apologize. Just help me with the measurements instead." The next day, as she's helping him clean up, she notices the scars on his back again and is visibly upset by them. He says, "You know, of all the injuries I've ever had, the one you gave me today is actually my favorite." He kisses her, and before it goes further, the scene cuts. The next morning when she opens her eyes in her room, she finds Song Jiaoli also there. He says, "You know I haven't slept at all because you've taken over my room. Why don't we just sleep together and continue what we had to stop yesterday?" She turns bright red and escapes. They go back to Mr. Yu's place the next day with a new idea, but he still won't budge. Just as they're about to give up, Mr. Yu suddenly gets dizzy and collapses. They rush to help him, but all he can think about is his wife's shell lamp. Song Jiaoli tries to call the assistant, but he's gone somewhere. Although Song Jiaoli has never driven since the accident that took his brother, today for Mr. Yu, he has no choice. He gets behind the wheel and drives him to the hospital. His condition deteriorates sharply on the way, and the moment they arrive, he practically collapses. She catches him. He holds her. His assistant arrives shortly after and pulls her aside to explain what happened years ago. Song Jiaoli had just learned to drive when he took his brother out. Kidnappers grabbed them both. His brother died. Song Jiaoli was rescued, but the trauma left him unable to drive since then. Doctors had specifically told him never to get behind the wheel again. Now she understands everything. What it must have cost him to do that today. Back at home, she takes care of him with complete tenderness. She feels responsible and terrible that it happened. He watches her fuss over him and simply feels warm. Their focus now becomes the shell lamp. They repair what they can, but some pieces were lost at sea. When she realizes what that means, she looks at him worriedly. He quietly notes her expression. That night, she wakes up and can't find him anywhere in the house. She goes looking. Out of the house, down the path, all the way to the beach. The water is dark and the wind is blowing, and she's calling his name as she walks faster. And there she finds him, standing at the water's edge, soaking wet, in one piece. He's okay, and in his hand, he holds the missing piece of shell. She stands there for just 1 second taking that in. Then she rushes to him and wraps her arms around him tightly, overwhelmed with a wave of emotion she couldn't have prepared herself for. She had been terrified that something had happened. When they bring the repaired shell lamp back to Mr. Yu, setting it carefully in his hands, his reaction is something neither of them expected. He holds it for a long time without speaking. His eyes fill with tears. You can see the whole weight of his grief and his love for his late wife in that one expression. He had thought this was gone forever, a part of her, gone with the sea. And here it is, back in his hands. He looks up at them both and finally, quietly, agrees. The project is theirs. Back at the office, Ha-un arrives late the next day because Song Jiaoli turned off her alarm while she slept. As they're messaging each other from across the room, Rhea notices and is consumed by jealousy. She quietly starts sabotaging Ha-eun's project work behind the scenes. But when they go out to check on the new design development, Song Jiao-lee has already redone everything they lost. He tells the grandfather, "The project was never lost. Mr. Yu gave it to us." The grandfather is visibly impressed despite himself. He hadn't actually expected this outcome. He studies his grandson's face for a long moment and says nothing. In a flashback, we then see what actually happened. When Ha-eun went to Mr. Yu with her damaged design, he had refused. And then Song Jiao-lee had arrived with a completely new idea, and Mr. Yu had loved it immediately. That's what turned things around. Rhea's jealousy deepens every time she sees them together. Song Jiao-lee invites Ha-eun to dinner. She says, "Sorry, I already have plans with V." He manages to hide his disappointment. The next scene shows V, Ha-eun, Liao, and their little group at dinner, and she has cooked genuinely impressive multiple dishes for Liao, putting real effort into it. Liao, delighted, photographs every single thing and posts it all on social media. The spread is beautiful. Song Jiao-lee sees the post and thinks, "She's never once cooked for me, and she's making all of this for Liao." He likes the post but is clearly stewing. After dinner, when V and Liao leave, his grandfather shows up out of nowhere. Song Jiao-lee dials his phone, and Ha-eun accidentally answers. She hears the entire conversation between grandfather and grandson. She learns the grandfather knows exactly how deeply Song Jiao-lee has fallen for her. He's been watching everything, including how he deliberately criticized Yao in the office today. The grandfather gives him a final ultimatum, and his voice when he says it is ice cold. "You have made your choice. It doesn't matter. No matter what you do or don't want, Yao is the one you are going to marry. I am not asking you. I am telling you, one last chance, Yao or Ha-eun. One last chance, Yao or Ha-eun." He doesn't hesitate. Never Yao. Not in this lifetime. The grandfather slaps him, says, "I wish it had been you who died that day instead of your brother." Those words hit like a blade. Song Jiao-lee walks out of the house that night. When he realizes Ha-eun heard everything, he doesn't talk about it. He just says, "I'm starving. Will you cook for me?" The next scene shows him at her home eating. She's worried about him. He can tell she cares even if she won't say it. He calls Liao loud enough for her to hear. "Grandfather threw me out. I'm homeless. Can I stay with you?" Then he says, "Never mind. You live with grandfather's business associates. You can't help me. Where am I supposed to go?" Liao understands exactly what's happening. As she hands him an ice pack for the bruise, he asks, "Can I stay here?" She can't say no. When he comes outside with his bag, she notices something. 6 years ago, there had been a man at their door with a bag just like that. She runs to him. "Were you at my house 6 years ago?" He denies it completely. "No, never. I was in training then. I had no time." But she has let him stay. As soon as she falls asleep, he gets a call that her mother needs to see a doctor urgently. He's at the hospital before she even knows what's happened. The doctor says she urgently needs a kidney. Song Jiao-lee quietly makes the decision to donate his own. Then he sees her coming. He has the doctor leave. She comes to him with her house keys. "Whenever you need somewhere to go, you can use my home. I'm staying with my mother for the weekend anyway." He takes the keys and tells her, "Look after your mother. Don't worry about anything else." She leaves. Days pass. The next day, she's at the hospital when her mother smiles and reminds her, "Today's your birthday." Rui hasn't even texted. Then a message comes in from Song Jiao-lee, asking her to come home. She tells her mother, "Must be Rui wishing me." She heads home and walks into a surprise. Decorations everywhere, and the white dress she had admired weeks ago is sitting there. He had noticed. He bought it for her then without saying a word. She is genuinely moved. He tells her, "I know you care about me, and as for Rui, you can easily break up with him," and then he kisses her. Just then, V and Rui ring the doorbell to surprise her for her birthday. She shoves Song Jiao-lee into the bathroom to hide. They celebrate. Everything is going smoothly until Rui says he needs the bathroom. She nearly stops breathing. He goes in, finds Song Jiao-lee, and is absolutely stunned. He comes out completely flustered and says they have to leave urgently, practically pushing V out the door. Song Jiao-lee is left wondering, when Rui saw me, he could have been furious. Why wasn't he? He's beginning to seriously doubt that Rui is actually her boyfriend at all. He gives Liao a task. Then, using the assistant's old number, he messages Rui and asks directly, "Are you really Ha-eun's boyfriend?" "I don't think so." Rui replies, No, we were just pretending for family reasons. We're not actually together." Song Jiao-lee's happiness at that moment is indescribable. It meant everything he had suspected was true. On the other side, Ha-eun and V are having dinner at a restaurant. V has to leave suddenly for a work call from Liao. She leaves her coat behind. Ha-eun hands it to her outside, and Shajin, passing by, sees someone leave in Ha-eun's coat. Sometime later, Song Jiao-lee gets a message. "I've kidnapped Ha-eun. Come and get her if you want to see her alive. And bring money." He immediately checks with Liao about that arrangement he'd asked for. Liao calls the men he'd staged a fake kidnapping plan with. They say they're still in rehearsal. Nothing's happened yet. This means the kidnapping is completely real. Song Jiaoli had actually been planning a little staged rescue to be her hero, but now this is not a game. He calls Ha-eun's number. She picks up. He realizes it might be a different woman who was taken, the one wearing her coat. Ha-eun confirms. V went out in my coat. They rush to find her. V is thankfully sitting there unharmed when they arrive. Liao immediately throws his arms around her. Song Jiaoli takes in this moment and understands. Liao has real feelings for this woman. He then tries to call V again, but the number's been blocked, and a new message comes in with a kidnapping photo. This time, it's Ha-eun. And who else could be behind this but Sha-jin? He grabs her and tells her, "Your boyfriend Song Jiaoli is coming with money to buy you back." Before he can get any worse, Song Jiaoli arrives, and in this moment he remembers everything. The time he had come with flowers for her, and Sha-jin had beaten him to the proposal. That moment when he had to watch someone else claim her. He had lost her once. He is never losing her again. Sha-jin attacks him from behind. Before things go any further, Liao and V arrive as backup. As he's slipping into unconsciousness, Song Jiaoli manages to say one thing. "If I make it through this, will you accept my proposal?" And then he's out. She bursts into tears. Completely uncontrollable ones. The kind that come from a place too deep to manage. He had told her he loved her. He had been about to propose properly. And now he's lying there unconscious, and she can't even pretend anymore. She says yes. She says it out loud through her tears, to a man who can't hear her right now, but she means every word of it. And watching her cry over him like this, Sha-jin's rage doubles. "I liked you too. I did everything for you. Even that affair with my boss's wife. I got that promotion for you, but you never once felt anything for me." He rants and then flees just as police arrive. He will be spending considerable time in jail for what he's done. The hospital scene. The moment Ha-eun comes to, she runs to Song Jiaoli's room. Liao stands outside pretending to be completely devastated, acting as if Song Jiaoli didn't make it. She breaks down entirely. "How could you leave me like this?" Liao, through her tears, tells her, "He even decided to give his own kidney for your mother. He loved you that much, and he never let you see it." She is overwhelmed. Then Liao tells her, "Relax, he's completely fine. Grandfather took him home for treatment." She realizes then, properly with her whole heart, she is deeply in love with Song Jiaoli. She cannot imagine life without him. In the next scene, she walks straight into the grandfather's home. She tells him directly, "I love Song Jiaoli." The grandfather tells her, "Forget it. Song Jiaoli and Yao's marriage is already arranged." She doesn't accept it. Song Jiaoli will never agree to that, and you know it. She turns and walks out. When Song Jiaoli hears she came, he gets up to follow her, but the grandfather blocks him. He says, "Yao is the one you will marry. That is final." This time, when he goes to stop Song Jiaoli, Yao steps forward and grabs the stick from his hands. She says, "I am the one who refuses. I am not marrying Song Jiaoli." She says it clearly and walks out. Song Jiaoli immediately asks his assistant to have the car ready. He needs to find Ha-eun. He then calls Rui into his office. Poor Rui walks in convinced he's about to be fired, wondering what he's done wrong. Song Jiaoli doesn't fire him. He hands him a promotion letter. Rui nearly cries with relief. He agrees to do whatever he's asked, and Song Jiaoli asks him to go back to the office and set the record straight. Rui does exactly that, telling every colleague, "Ha-eun is like a sister to me, practically a cousin's best friend. There is no relationship, and I fully support these two people who clearly have feelings for each other." Ha-eun hears all of it. When Song Jiaoli arrives, everyone is cheering for them. She understands immediately that he gave Rui a promotion to make this happen. She is ready. She has made her decision. She even gives him a set of conditions, including that they won't go public right away. He agrees to everything on the spot. That night, together in her home, properly together for the first time, everything Song Jiaoli has been waiting for, all of it, finally arrives. He is the happiest he has been in years. He tells Liao later and teases him mercilessly about V. Liao is painfully jealous. The grandfather investigates further. When he finds out Song Jiaoli never came home that night, that he stayed with Ha-eun, and then uncovers the detail about the scholarship from years ago, he makes his decision. He is going to break them apart no matter what. When Ha-eun visits her mother, she walks in mid-discussion about Rui. Then, Song Jiaoli arrives with flowers, and he doesn't hide a single thing from her mother. He sits down and tells her exactly how he feels. "I love your daughter, and we are practically already together. She just won't fully admit it yet." Her mother is utterly delighted. She wishes them happiness. Liao, however, is in trouble. V's best friend has a birthday, and she asks Song Jiaoli for time off. He refuses to let her leave the office. She ends up messaging Ha-eun to check on her friend. V is on the phone crying at the office. The man she liked had been with his ex the whole time. All four of them end up drinking together that night. Liao keeps watch over V with a gentleness he's never shown anyone before. His feelings are obvious. Song Jiaoli takes Ha-eun home. He carries her all the way home on his back, and when they settle somewhere quiet, he says it plainly. "I noticed you watching when Liao carried V. I don't want you to be jealous over something like that, because everything I've ever done, I've done because of you. I have always been around you, even when you had no idea I was there. I was always the one driving behind you at night, making sure you got home safely. You just never knew. He shows her his brother Shan's ring and tells her the full story at last. When the kidnappers captured them both, they gave them a choice. Only one of you survives. Both brothers refused to harm the other. That night, a gunman came for Song Jiao Li, and his brother Shan threw himself in the way. He died for him. Song Jiao Li breaks quietly as he tells her this. And there is more. Song Jiao Li is actually an adopted son of the Song family. That is why his grandfather has never loved him the way he loved the other brother. He has always been second in this family. From the very beginning, he was never really seen the way his brother was seen, never fully claimed, never fully wanted. He grew up knowing it in his bones, even when no one said it out loud. She listens to all of it and holds him. V, her phone forgotten, ends up staying at Liao's place. He finally confesses his feelings. She agrees to stay. The next morning, Song Jiao Li forgets his phone at home. There's an emergency at the office and he leaves quickly. V sends a message to the assistant's number by accident, and Song Jiao Li's own number rings. She tries password after password on his phone. Nothing works. Then, almost on a whim, she tries her own birthday. The phone opens. She stares at the screen for a moment before she starts looking through it, and she finds her own photos saved there. Old ones. Photos she doesn't even remember being taken. Photos from years ago, before she ever knew this man existed in the way she knows him now. And she finally understands everything. The man who funded her studies, who watched over her from before they ever officially met, who has been quietly in love with her since that day outside her old house. It was Song Jiao Li all along. She sits there for a long time with a quiet, full smile on her face, putting every piece together slowly. The scholarship, the way he always seemed to appear when she needed someone, the way he knew things about her that she had never told him, the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't paying attention. All of it makes a kind of sense now that it didn't before. She feels something shift, settle, and become steady. The next day at the office, Ha-eun is being accused by the grandfather of being behind a financial incident. Money had been transferred into her account. He demands an explanation. She refuses to accept the accusation. I didn't do this. And then she says directly, I think I understand what this is. You transferred money into my account yourself to frame me. The grandfather is surprised she figured it out so fast. He puts two choices in front of her: save your mother or leave Song Jiao Li forever. There is no third option. She says nothing, walks out. The grandfather smirks behind her. Song Jiao Li learns about all of this and is furious. Then something even bigger and more terrible comes to light. The grandfather himself was behind the original kidnapping of Song Jiao Li and his brother all those years ago. He had always resented Song Jiao Li's presence in the family, had never wanted him there, never loved him, and he had arranged for him to be taken and killed. The plan was for Song Jiao Li to die that night. His brother had understood, on some level, the kind of danger they were in, and had thrown himself in front of the blow that was meant for Song Jiao Li. He died so his brother could live, and the grandfather had let Song Jiao Li grieve that loss and carry the guilt of it for years, knowing the truth the entire time. The brother had loved him enough to die in his place. When he understands the full scope of what his grandfather has done, Song Jiao Li walks to him and says, I am leaving this company. You are on your own from now on. Figure it out yourself. The grandfather is absolutely rattled. He hadn't expected this. Song Jiao Li then finds Ha-eun and tells her about the kidney donor. It had never been from somewhere else. It was him. She had guessed as much from what Liao had told her. She is overwhelmed. She holds him. The next day they have started a company of their own. Small. Theirs. Built from nothing. And they are genuinely happy. She takes him to her old school and shows him around, telling him about her childhood, still trying in her soft way to make him admit how long he has loved her. They go to a restaurant she used to visit often. A woman there tells Song Jiao Li, I've seen you here before. He says, No, this is my first time. She doesn't let it go. She takes his phone, tries her own birthday as the password. It opens. She shows him her old photo saved in his phone. She says, Are you really still going to pretend you don't know me? He says, All right, you are my first love. You have always been my only first love. And he kisses her properly, finally with nothing left to hide. Sometime later, Song Jiao Li and Ha-eun are married and happy in the most uncomplicated, comfortable way that two people can be happy together. They have one small child already and another on the way. The house is full of noise and warmth and the kind of ordinary joy that is anything but ordinary. One day they sit their little one down together and gently ask why exactly he wants to repeat a school year when his grades are perfectly fine. He says it's because a girl from their friend's family, Liao and V's daughter, is in that class. Song Jiao Li and Ha-eun look at each other with their mouths open. Their son is already doing what they once did. Liao and V had also gotten married, and they have a daughter. Hearing this, both parents are simultaneously stunned and completely unsurprised. Their little family, full, warm, and laughing, brings this drama to its close. So guys, how did you like this one? Let me know in the comments.